Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Kalika and you're probably going to be a better person after watching this video. My 33 female fairy tale with him, 33 male, has turned into a bit of a horror story. What can I do here? I moved in with my boyfriend last year after dating for several years. I have a 7-year-old daughter with me and he has a 10-year-old daughter with him. They get on quite well. He had a well-paying job and was also starting a side business. I worked retail for much less than he makes. When we moved in together, he convinced me to quit my job, which drained my energy and he said was really a waste of time for what I was paid. He instead suggested I should work with him to get his side business off the ground. That sounded good. However, soon after we moved in together, he unexpectedly lost his main job. This has of course put considerable strain on our lives. So now we're in a rush to get the side business running. However, it's quite difficult and for the most part, it's not stuff I know how to do. I do my best to keep our household running well. I take the girls to and from school and skating and play dates. I grocery shop and do our laundry and look after our pets. Prepare dinners, do lots of errands, go to the post office, the bank, etc. I take his dad to the doctor appointments as necessary. I sit up with him sometimes, half the night to keep him company and fetch things. I don't know how to do the actual hands-on work and he gives me very little direction. But he's under a lot of stress and pressure because he feels like our future rests on his shoulders. Even if I get another retail position, it won't pay for our house. He also is probably feeling horrible for losing his job, even though it wasn't actually his fault. Here comes the fun part. He turns his stress and anger towards me regularly. It's so upsetting to me because I never know when I'm going to get in trouble next. And of course, I do whatever I could to avoid these fits of his, but I never know what's going to set him off. Sometimes he's great, happy, and positive and singing a happy tune. Other times he's a nasty, bitter, angry monster. I'll give a super quick example. Last night, I sat up with him until 3 AM and then went to bed. I then got up early and made lunch for the girls and took them to school. Came home and did laundry, went to the bank, made a dental appointment for him, picked up the mail at the post office. I did not wake him up because 1, he hadn't asked me to, and 2, I know he was up until 4 AM, so I figured he wanted to sleep. I heard him wake up around 2 PM, so I made him coffee, soup and a sandwich and came up to give it to him. The minute I walked in, he was a snarling mess, blaming me for letting him sleep, blaming me for the fact that nothing gets done, even though he alone is the one who needs to do the stuff. When I told him what I'd be doing, he dismissed it and said I'm just wasting time. He then grabbed the coffee and threw it against the bed. Nothing broke, but it spilled everywhere. He said he needs help and I'm absolutely no help. I walked out and went downstairs and started doing the dishes. I know he'll apologise later, but this isn't an isolated incident. It's a regular occurrence now and it's really making me feel crap. Last month we got into an argument and he ripped up the birthday card I gave him. He was really angry at me at Christmas and ripped decorations off of the tree. He has thrown a muffin, a hamburger, and a nearly empty can of pop over the past few months. There's so much stress in my home now, and since he is always here without a job, I feel at the mercy of his moods. I believe in loving someone you've committed to even if they are sick. I wouldn't leave him if he had cancer, but I don't know if there's mental illness from the stress of losing his job or just abusive nastiness. TLDR. Boyfriend lost his job and is stressed and now becoming a tyrant at home. My 23 female, boyfriend 29 male, stole money from me to fund an addiction that I had no idea about. Been together for just over 2 years. Checked my bank account last night after work and I had £1,000 less than I thought, which was really concerning, so I mentioned it to him and he eventually said he took it to pay off debts, as he's addicted to cocaine apparently. I had no idea. I work long and hard shifts for the money I earn. He doesn't work at the moment due to mental health issues, so I support him and help him out as much as I can, so this is just a huge betrayal. I'm in an awful place mentally myself and this has just pushed me to rock bottom. I don't even know where to start with all of this. He doesn't do anything to help himself mentally. He literally does nothing and hopes that feeling better will just happen on its own. He's just started taking antidepressants and that's literally the only step he has taken. I've told him he needs to go to drug and alcohol counselling ASAP, but I doubt he will. I feel like I'm constantly picking up the pieces from the self-destructive things he does, there's a list, and I feel worthless at this point, especially because he's not showing much emotion at all about the whole thing. Anybody have any experience with cocaine addicts that could give me advice? I'm just too tired to be able to think of how to properly help, and I'm at a loss. I don't want to turn my back on him as he needs help, I just don't know what to do. TLDR. Boyfriend lifted a lot of money from my bank account to fund a cocaine addiction I had no idea about. How do you help a self-destructive person who is now an addict? Is what my 25 female, boyfriend 26 male doing considered cheating? We've been dating for 4 months. He met this girl, 20s female, around a month after we started dating, and they got close really fast, to the point where they talk all day and hang out almost every night. I didn't mind at first, as she's always been nice and friendly to me, and I thought we would be good friends for a while too. But when I saw how well her and boyfriend go along and so fast, I started getting jealous and paranoid that he was into her. I started pulling away from being really friendly with her because I felt out of place and like a third wheel the few times we all hung out together. The other night, my paranoia reached a tipping point and I checked his phone while he was sleeping. I know that's not okay to do and I feel guilty about it now, so please don't come at me for it. I looked through his messages with her and my heart sank when I saw that they were heavily flirtatious/sexual. They talked so often that there were easily hundreds of messages, and I scrolled for 10 minutes and only made it far enough back to the middle of January. Some topics I saw were that they were sharing previous sex stories in graphic detail, some things he's never even told me, and he specifically told her he had never told anyone else before. Messages he sent her include stuff about how big his penis is, sex toy talk, kinks, turn-ons, etc. She's also sent similar messages and he has never told her to stop or that any lines were being crossed. These messages made me uncomfortable and upset to read, but what really made my heart sink was just the night before, boyfriend told her he would watch her masturbate and he said he would return the favour. This was said in a joking way, but they still flirted about the topic for a while afterwards until switching to a new one. The thing is, there are no messages where they actually say they're into each other. There's no compliments like calling her pretty or anything, nothing that outright asks her to do anything, no selfies or nudes shared, nothing that would be obviously considered cheating. I'm sorry if it sounds really dumb, but this is my first real relationship and I'm just not sure if these things are considered cheating or not. I don't know if I'm just being too prissy or prudish or immature to handle an actual adult relationship. Please let me know. Thank you. TLDR. Boyfriend is heavily flirtatious with his female friend. Not sure if sexual conversation topics are considered cheating. My 23 female, boyfriend 28 male is chronically late for everything. I'll cut right to the chase. Since the beginning of our relationship, my boyfriend has been the worst at time management. On our first date, which was at the beach, I let him know I'd be arriving a little earlier, around 11ish, to scope out the area and explore a bit. We agreed on noonish, and he didn't arrive until nearly 3. For the almost 2 years we've been together, he's always been like this. He's not just a little late to things, he's regularly 2 to 3 hours late. Even when I'm with him, he moves so slowly, gets distracted so easily, and has no sense of urgency. He also smokes weed, which I normally wouldn't be bothered by except for the fact that it takes him hours to do even what he promises it'll be really quick. Plus he seems to need to smoke before literally everything. Before a meal, before we go out anywhere, before we go on a walk, before bed, etc. It's gotten to the point where I have stopped trying to do things with him. I don't ask him to go on trips, go on dates, or do any activity together because I know I'll be waiting for hours. It's made our relationship quite boring since we essentially only hang out at his place while he smokes. I let him know, and while he apologised, he has shown no signs of fixing this. TLDR. Boyfriend has terrible time management issues. Edit. He has been a smoker for a long time. His use didn't increase or begin once entering a relationship with me. I don't know if he has ADD or ADHD or not since he hasn't been screened for it, but he has been diagnosed with depression and anxiety. His reason for being late stems from work stress. He claims that the strain of having to perform and be on time from work is a lot, so he tends to neglect time management outside the office since it causes him too much stress. Is this a normal request? Me, 30 female, husband, 36 male. Background. Married 5 years, 2-year-old son. A lot of relationship issues bubble up this summer to the point where I was convinced I was leaving him. Now we're making progress, but I'm still not convinced it's going to work. Lately, my husband has been seemingly ignoring me when I talk. Like he used to not listen but would say, "What?" so I'd know he didn't hear me. He's not even doing that anymore. This almost always happens when he's on the phone, which is most of the time. Last night, I asked my husband if he could put our son in his pajamas. I had made dinner, given him a bath, and put him in a diaper bathrobe, and just wanted to relax for a minute. He didn't look up from his phone and gave no response. I asked if he heard me, and he says no. He says, "Well, I was in the middle of something," and asked me to repeat it. I did, and then told him I noticed he's been doing it more recently and it's hurtful. He got angry and defensive and ultimately proposed this solution. If I want to talk to him and he's in front of a screen, I should say, "Hey, when you get a second, can I talk to you?" The thing is, he's always on his phone, even when he's playing with our son. So this would mean that everything I want to say to him would need to be prefaced. Important things and stupid little things. There are times when we're sitting down before bed and I say something about a show or whatever and he doesn't even seem to hear me. He doesn't respond. It makes me feel like I am less important than whatever he's reading or doing. Moreover, his request makes me feel like I'm bothering him by trying to talk to him. I told him last night that I didn't want to continue the conversation because I didn't want to fight. I told him that I'd hoped we could resume today. I am trying now to prepare myself for how I can talk to him about it without causing him to get angry. I don't want him to feel like I'm against him, because I'm not. I just want to be heard and want him to want to hear me. Does his solution seem feasible? Am I wrong to be hurt by it? Is there a side I'm not seeing? TLDR. Husband wants me to announce myself before I talk to him when he's in front of a screen. He says this will make sure he's listening. I feel hurt. Okay, so that's it for r/relationships. As always, if you do want to see more content like this, then please do subscribe. Thank you so much for watching. Bye!